Welcome to Our Communiversity Today, a community affairs program from West Virginia University Institute of Technology in Beckley, hosted by Dr. T. Ramon Stewart, president of West Virginia University Institute of Technology, working to make a difference in Southern West Virginia. Guest opinions expressed on this program may not represent the opinions of West Virginia University Institute of Technology or Southern Communications. And now with today's program, here's Dr. Stewart.
Welcome to Our Communiversity Today. I'm Dr. Ramon Stewart, president of WVU Tech here in Beckley, and I'm thankful that you chose to be with us today as we explore our communiversity. Again, when we talk about communiversity, we believe that the community is the university and the university is the community. And that's so important as you look throughout our great state of West Virginia and you think about the many things that we have going on. You think about where we've been, you think about where we are, and you realize that in order for all ships to rise with the tide, we must be steadfast and resolute in bringing people together in order to ensure a brighter tomorrow. And when we talk about bringing people together, for those of you who've been with us since the launch of the show, you've heard about local entrepreneurs and business people here in Southern West Virginia. And those individuals play a critical role in the communiversity. But we also must work diligently with our legislators and other elected government officials to ensure that we cover all the respective bases that we need to give West Virginia, and specifically here in Southern West Virginia, the resources that are necessary to ask and answer two questions. And that's simply, why not us and why not now? And so as we look to answer those two questions today, I'm so happy to have in studio one of Tech's very own, a graduate from Tech that went on to do great things, and he now serves as the treasurer of the state of West Virginia. And so, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to have Larry Pack Sr. join us for Our Communiversity Today. But right now we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more Our Communiversity Today on News Talk WWNR.
Need a change and ready to transfer? WVU Tech offers the best return on your college investment in West Virginia, and we make it easy to apply and transfer your existing credits. We've got top-ranked, affordable engineering programs, 4-year degrees in science, business, and nursing, plus financial aid and student support services. WVU Tech could be just the place for you. Find out more information at wvutech.edu/admissions today.
Raleigh County Parks and Recreation's Live 25 Day 2 Concert Art and Vendor Series is set. June 20th from 6 to 10 p.m. at Lake Stevens Event Center. Great local rock and country vibe talent. Producer Tyler Carden brings you The Company, Ben Fishin, and Gracie Bauer. Rain or shine, the show will go on. So bring your lawn chairs, blankets, ears, and buy your $10 tickets at the door. Log into RaleighCountyParks.gov for more information.
Event series sponsored by Kid in the Background and 103 CIR.
Now back to the program.
Again, welcome back to Our Communiversity Today. We have visiting with us the Honorable Treasurer of the State of West Virginia, Mr. Larry Pack Sr., and we're going to just spend some time getting to know Mr. Pack and his role in the state government. So how are you today, Larry?
I'm great. Thanks so much for bringing me on campus this morning. It's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely great. And I think it's neat when you talk about coming on campus. You know, a couple years ago, you were on campus at Tech.
Yes, I was. It was a really great time. I was back in the late 70s when I was at Tech at Montgomery. The school was very vibrant at that time. Taught me a lot, lifelong friends, got a great education, and launched from there.
Yeah, you know, and I think it's so appropriate that you mentioned the education that you got. One of the things is we often talk when we say tech, people think about our STEM background. They think about, you know, our being a top 100 engineering school in the nation. But the reality is we engineer more than just engineers, because when you were at Tech, You didn't study engineering, did you?
No, I did not. Matter of fact, that was too hard a course for me. So I did it. I went into business route. I majored in accounting. I was fantastic business school back in those days. Still is today. So a lot of CPAs that came out of West Virginia Tech over the years.
Yeah, and I think that's neat because when you talk about the CPAs that came out of Tech over the years, you had a cadre of CPAs that graduated with you that went on to do good things. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So a lot, and some of us are still practicing, but some of us also went different directions. A few have retired, but it was well known as a really good business school, very good accounting school back in those days. Wonderful professors.
And you talk about going in a different direction, and even prior to your public service as the treasurer of the state of West Virginia, after you practiced being a CPA, what did you do?
Yeah, so I did local CPA in Charleston, Southern West Virginia, for about 20 years, and after that, I entered the business world. I was in the healthcare business for most of that time. So we basically took care of the elderly, whether it was rehab care, home health, skilled nursing, long-term care, hospice, just a little bit of everything, all around the state of West Virginia and some in Ohio.
So you have some extensive background with signing the front of a paycheck.
Yes, I do. Absolutely.
And so tell me how that feels. You know, when we think about why not us, why not now, we believe that business and industry is essential. And part of that is having vibrant, small and medium-sized businesses and people like you that sign the front of a paycheck. So what is that like?
Well, it's very fulfilling when you're able to give people a job or offer people a job. We went from we started out with 3 folks when we started our healthcare business and ended up about 3,500 20 years later. So, we just feel responsible to that employee, to that family, to give them the opportunity not only to have a good job, but to have an ability to move up and move on and do really good things. And so there's a lot of Stone Rise alumni out there that really blessed us to work with us. Some for a long period of time, some for a short period of time, as they moved around. But taking care of people, if you want to take care of people, you want to build a business, you have to take care of your team. You have to take care of your coworkers.
Absolutely. And so, again, you started with 3 employees and you grew to 3,500. How did you manage that exponential growth?
Most of the time well, sometimes not so well. Sometimes maybe we grew a little bit too fast, but we're very blessed that God brought opportunities to us when we were prepared to take on that next opportunity. And so it seems like that his plan worked out. Sometimes maybe I wanted to do things that a little quicker than I could. But over time, over 20 years, we just basically kept building, kept growing our team, kept bringing the people in we needed to take care of folks. And it just kind of really worked out. I can't say that we had a grand plan. We didn't have a grand plan when we started with number 3, but a lot of prayer, a lot of providence. We were just fortunate to be able to do that. We had a lot of operations in Southern West Virginia. That's where our heart is. And so it's always great to be back in Raleigh County, where we had a lot of things going on here.
Yeah, that's exciting. And you talk about not having necessarily a plan, but having a bunch of prayers. And I think that leads into a sense of servant leadership. And, so throughout your career, you've been a servant leader. What about servant leadership is attractive to you?
I think it's, it is so rewarding to see your coworkers accomplish things they didn't think they could accomplish. To get the training, to get the opportunities. A lot of times, I think, particularly Southern West Virginia, we're underrated, right? People don't think we can do what we can do, and so just giving folks the opportunity, we can compete with anybody in the world if we get the opportunity. So that's a really rewarding part. So we had a lot of East Bank High graduates. We had a lot of where I came from, a lot of DuPont, a lot of East Virginia Valley, but also a lot of West Virginia Tech graduates. And we did some really marvelous things, and we competed against some of the biggest companies in the United States in the healthcare field, and we did really well with West Virginia. So we're very, very pleased. It was a great time in life. Still got a lot of those folks out there working and doing really good things. Very proud of them.
Yeah, and I think it's exciting to hear being from the Upper Kanawha Valley, region and stuff, and starting there at East Bank and the things that you were able to do. With that, what are some of the things that you learned from your upbringing or even your time at Tech that prepared you to be that servant leader that you are?
Well, I think again, it really starts with understanding that in order to do anything big, to accomplish anything worthwhile, you have to have a team, and you have to put a team together, and not only put a team together, but be able to keep that team together, and that's the biggest part. So whether you learn that in athletics, I learned that from watching my parents and grandparents, but that was the biggest part. Is it's a team sport, no matter what you're trying to accomplish. We wanted to take care of the elderly. In order to take care of the elderly, we needed a team, and the team, it was different, right? Some of the team were healthcare workers, some were financial people, some were maintenance people. So you had to just put this entire team together, and that's the best part really of Stonerise, being able to put that team together and to be able to make an impact on our communities. And so our role, as much as anything, is just try to impact the communities positively, but then make sure that the team had the tools necessary to do so.
Yeah, and you talk about community impact, and that's something we're big on here on Arkham University today. And you mentioned Sunrise and what it did for healthcare and everything. But, when I was recently talking with you, I think your impact on the community far extends beyond just right here in the state of West Virginia. You were on a mission trip about a week or two ago. How was that?
Well, that was it was an eye-opening trip. So we went on a mission trip to Africa, to Tanzania, with Compassion International. Compassion International is the charity that works that you can sponsor children. So you can sponsor a particular child. I think you pay $40 a month, and we've done that over the years. And you make a connection with that child, and then the money goes for that child to have food, to have clothing, health care, and so that's kind of how the thing works. And then what Compassion International does is they work with local churches and local volunteers. So we went to some of those churches. I think one was a Mennonite church, one was a Baptist church, the Anglican church, all these different churches, and that we're able to work with these children. Generally, there's about 200 children at each church, at each location. But in Tanzania, a third world country, they don't have clean water. They're basically, and to the extent they do have water, they're carrying it in. A lot of times they live in mud huts. So even food is a challenge. So a lot of the things that we take for granted, for them is just a dream. So to be able just to make a little difference in their lives for a short period of time was a blessing. But also it helps ground you a little bit and realize how blessed we are. With the things we have, we need to make sure that we're giving back in appropriate levels.
Yeah, and I think that is so fortunate because, it's always said, to whom much is given, much is expected.
Yes, sir.
It sounds like not only have you met those expectations, you've tried to exceed those expectations.
I think we've got a long way to go, but we're definitely cognizant of the facts that he's God has blessed us, and we definitely need to give back.
Well, certainly. And so, again, ladies and gentlemen, in studio with us today is Larry Pack, the treasurer of the state of West Virginia, also a proud tech graduate with an accounting degree. We're going to take a short break, and so I ask that you stay tuned for News Talk WWNR for more Arkham University Today with State Treasurer Larry Pack.
WVU Tech's Regents Bachelor of Arts degree is crafted for adult learners like you. Flexible, affordable, and tailored to your goals. You can even earn credit for work and life experience, giving you a jump on completing your degree. Whether you're finishing a degree you started or shifting to a new career, WVU Tech provides the resources and support you need to make it a reality. Take the next step at wvutech.edu/admissions today.
The sandwich is not just spicy, it's flavorful. Hi, this is Matayo. And this is Elsa. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is that spicy kick. I really like the marinated chicken breast because the spice comes in at just the right moment. Oh, no. A little thing I love is that cilantro lime sauce. It's a fun blend of zesty and bold. It's highlighting the flavors in the chicken. That's what really makes me happy. Are you going to eat all your fries?
Real guests paid for their
With more
testimonials.
University Today, here's Dr. Stewart.
Welcome back to Arkham University Today. Again in studio, we have with us the treasurer of the state of West Virginia, Larry Pack Sr. And we now want to transition a little bit, and I appreciate getting to know you a little bit better and allowing our listeners to get to know you better. But you got a new job. You were elected by the people to serve as the treasurer of this great state. And, One of my mentors always said to me, now that you got what you want, do you want what you got? And so how is it being the treasurer of the state of West Virginia?
I think it's like most positions. When you're running, you think you have an idea of what the job's all about, but when you get there, it's a little bit different, maybe a lot different. So when I think of the treasurer's office, it's I'm the chief financial officer for the state of West Virginia. So basically, anything that has a dollar sign on it, I have some responsibility for that dollar. We're the state's bank, so we handle all the behind-the-scenes banking transactions just like your local bank would do, that we take for granted. Well, but if we don't do our job, the state doesn't make payroll on Friday. So that part is very, very important. We run all the savings plans, so we have the college savings plans, the 529, and we spend a lot of time promoting that. But we also have an ABLE plan, which is for basically a 529 for handicapped folks to be able to save as well. We do unclaimed property, which is a big part of our responsibility. We have about $400 million of other people's money in the state of West Virginia, and we're trying to locate the individuals that belongs to the rightful owners. And so we do a lot of promoting of that plan. So if anybody on here that's listening, please go to the Treasury website and check to see if you have any unclaimed property. We operate and administer the Hope Scholarship Plan, which is the education savings plan for K through 12. It's a new program. It's about 2 or 3 years old, growing exponentially. So we spend a lot of time on that plan as well. So we just got a lot of different programs that we're operating. I didn't list them all, but it's just, again, the chief financial officer. So we weigh in on the budget. We weigh in on tax things. We do a lot of work with economic development, which is kind of a carryover from my previous job with Governor Justice. So it's a big responsibility. I'm enjoying the job. I've got a great team. We're traveling West Virginia so that we can learn more about West Virginia. You can't really learn about things unless you go, unless you listen. And so part of why I'm in Beckley today is not only to get back on campus where I was many, many years ago, but also to learn more about the needs for Raleigh County and Beckley and West Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I think that's so powerful. I was always taught that there's a reason why we have 2 ears and only one mouth.
Yes, sir.
Because we're supposed to listen twice as much as we speak. And so with that notion of listening and learning and everything, what are some things just statewide so far that you've listened to or learned that has kind of raised your eyebrows?
I think 2 or 3 things, but one of the things that really struck me is the quality of our local elected officials all around the state, whether they're mayors or councilmen, they're county officials. We've got a lot of talent working really, really hard to grow their communities, to protect their communities, to be good stewards of their communities all around West Virginia. A lot of good ideas. So I've really been impressed with that. Impressed also with the economic activity around the state. So there's just a lot of good things happening. Small businesses, big businesses expanding, just phenomenal. So we make announcements every once in a while in Charleston, but there's a lot going on that Charleston doesn't know anything about. So that is very not only very enlightening, but exciting to see. For the first time in my lifetime, we have more jobs. We have workers to fill those jobs, so we see people not only staying in West Virginia, but we see people coming back. Now they come back in slow numbers, but they're coming back and they're staying. That's phenomenal to be able to sell West Virginia in that light. So just a lot of really good things going on. Housing is a need all around West Virginia. And the reason it's a need is people need housing. They're expanding their families, right? They're moving in. So it's so different from the 80s. When I got out of college in the 80s, and particularly in southern West Virginia, there was not much going on because the mines were really hit so hard. But this is really a good time to be in West Virginia. It's exciting to be in this position.
Yeah, I think it's exciting to hear that, we have a plethora of jobs and different things, but we oftentimes talk about the housing challenges. And we had as a guest not long ago, Dr. John Deskins. I called him West Virginia's economist, and he was talking about, which comes first, the housing or the people or the housing. And so I think it's good knowing those levels of jobs exist, that there's opportunities to get people to see the opportunity that is here and exists in West Virginia. But you talked about getting out and exploring, the local governments, municipalities and stuff. And, one of the things I'll say personally is I've been very impressed with the number of times you've been here in Southern West Virginia. I've seen some of the media stuff that your team puts out and different things. What is your interest or focus in coming to Southern West Virginia, to the people in Southern West Virginia?
Southern West Virginia, that's that's my territory. This is where I grew up. This is where I hunted. This is where you fished. This is where we played ball. We still have some property in Greenbrier, Monroe County. So this is just home for us. Whether it's the state parks, it's the streams, it's just what we've known. It's, playing ball here, myself or my 6 kids playing ball down this direction. So anything I can do to help fight for Southern West Virginia, that's probably one of the big things that gets me up in the morning. And whether it's the deep, coal fields, or it's Greenbrier, Monroe County, I want to do everything I can to help promote Southern West Virginia. We have got to try a little harder down here, I think. We don't have some of the attributes that maybe the Eastern Panhandle has, or some of the attributes that North Central has, but we've got a lot of really good, hardworking people that just want to change.
Yeah, it struck me when you talked about, we, need some opportunity and stuff, and I always like to talk on this show about why not us and why not now, and you talk about some of those other amenities and different things. From your perspective as the treasurer of this great state, what are some things that we could be potentially looking at here in Southern West Virginia to create some of those opportunities that may be existing in other portions of the state?
Well, I think that Governor Justice started a lot of it with erosion prosperity. So more accessible roads in Southern West Virginia. We spent hundreds of millions of dollars in the last few years. Still got some of those projects going, for example, around the bypass and different things. So that's really, the roads infrastructure is really huge. So whether it's water, it's sewer, it's roads, those are really, really important things to continue to invest in. Good schools are to continue to invest in. So it's those core things that only the government can do to help Southern West Virginia. But I think some of the programs that we did at the states really helped. So the TIF district, STIF district that Raleigh County's got recently that's going to help around the bypass. That's basically taking money that would otherwise go to the state, keeping it here in the county to do some of these infrastructure projects so that we can have some of the big developments like maybe a South Bridge in Charleston in this part of the area. So we just got to work a little harder, a little bit more creative. But I think what I see a lot in Southern West Virginia is we're willing to work together. We're willing to go shoulder to shoulder to get things done. That moves mountains without a doubt. So a lot of good things are coming to Southern West Virginia. Now we all know that McDowell County, Wyoming County, Mingo, those are tough. I mean, they're just, reality is tough. So we've got to continue to do everything we can to help them. But Raleigh County is the economic driver for Southern West Virginia. Kind of always has been, and it's coming back.
Yeah, our listeners know that I have a space in my heart for my beloved free state of McDowell County. And really, when I think about this show and I think about what we're trying to do and how we're trying to bring people together, it's because I know what McDowell County was. I see what it is, but I'm searching for an answer of what it can be. And so to hear our elected officials that represent the entire state that can go through not only a McDowell County, but a Mingo County, a Wyoming County, and understand that there are people here that really built this state.
Yes.
When you look at the coal that was mined, the metallurgical coal that built the steel, that fought wars, that actually built up other cities and states around us. And so it's very, very refreshing to hear not only somebody of your stature mention those counties or whatever, but it reminds me of the Latin phrase res non verba, which means deeds, not words. And so your actions or your deeds suggest that you're really, really, really supportive of Southern West Virginia. And I think that should be applauded.
Well, thank you for that. But Governor Justice kind of beat in our head for those 2 years I hung out with him that we cannot give up on McDowell County. We cannot give up on Wyoming County, Mingo County. We got to continue to do everything we can to help the folks down there rebuild their economies. So much of the reason we don't have those economies are hurting so much is where we basically have done everything we can, or at least the national government's done everything they can, so that we can't mine coal. Right? The coal's still there. So maybe some of the stuff that President Trump's trying to do will help us. But again, we cannot give up on those folks. They need our help, and forever, as you said, they carry the state of West Virginia. We need to remember that.
Yeah, and I think that's such a important point for our listeners. And so, as we go through and you think about being the treasurer, what are some of your priorities here in the near future?
I think I go two directions. One is economic development. So many of our problems can be cured by a good job. And so we need to continue to do everything we can to bring more job creators to West Virginia and to enable the ones that are here to grow their businesses. That's really number one. The other is to try to get government, the state of West Virginia government, to just focus on the core things that only they can do: roads, school, infrastructure, public safety, safety net for our poor, and get out of some of this other stuff that other people can do. I think if we focus on the core, we'll do a much better job on the core things that we have to do and we need to do.
Well, it sounds great. And so we're going to take a short break real quick. And I asked our listeners stick with News Talk WWNR as we look to close out this edition of Arkham University Today with our state treasurer, Larry Pack Sr.
From a $2 sausage McMuffin to small fries or even a mini McFlurry, McDonald's new under $3 McValue menu has over 15 ways to save all day. Any size frozen Coke for $2, any size iced coffee for $2. McDee's comes through at participating McDonald's for a limited time.
Towering over Soaky Mountain Water Park sits an 8-story drop down a twisted path of raging currents. Introducing Raptors Rage. 6 courageous souls ride together to brave the twists, turns, and zero-gravity drops. It's not just a raft ride. It's an initiation. A test of family, friends, and fortitude. Raptors Rage at Soaky Mountain Water Park. Now open. Learn more at SoakyMountainWaterPark.com.
Need a change and ready to transfer? WVU Tech offers the best return on your college investment in West Virginia, and we make it easy to apply and transfer your existing credits. We've got top-ranked, affordable engineering programs, 4-year degrees in science, business, and nursing, plus financial aid and student support services. WVU Tech could be just the place for you. Find out more information at wvutech.edu/admissions today.
With more Communiversity Today, here's Dr. Stewart.
Welcome back to Arkham University Today. I want to again thank our guest in studio today, the treasurer of the state of West Virginia, Larry Pack Sr., also a proud Golden Bear who graduated from Tech. And I thank Larry for sharing his time and his talent with our listeners. And I think it's so important because as I think about a young man growing up on the banks of the Kanawha River that graduated from West Virginia high schools, that went on to get educated at a West Virginia institution of higher education. And I look and I think about the knowledge and expertise that he's had and the business acumen that he possesses. And I think about the places that he could go and the things that he could do. But one of the things that I am refreshed by is that our guest today, again, our state treasurer, allowed these country roads to not only take him home, but keep him here too. And I think that's so important because as we look and we think about why not us and why not now, we must be able to work hand in hand and walk step by step with our elected officials, both at the local, the state, and also the national levels, to make sure that we have the resources that are necessary to be better in Southern West Virginia. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you please visit wwnrradio.com for additional information about our treasurer and how you can help build Arkham University Today for a brighter Southern West Virginia tomorrow.
You've been listening to Our Communiversity Today, a production of West Virginia University Institute of Technology and Communiversity partner Southern Communications in Beckley. This program and contact information is available on our website and our mobile app at wwnrradio.com. Join us next week for Our Communiversity Today.